So, principle number 3 for effective community organizing: ask for what you want. Now, you never want to be afraid to ask for what you want. You want to be specific, telling people exactly how they can help you. When you ask with confidence, you'd be surprised how often people want to help. There's an element of psychology that's useful here called anchoring. What that means is that when we make decisions, we tend to rely too heavily on single bits of information for making those decisions instead of using a more holistic decision-making process. Now, anchoring actually comes into handy whenever you're negotiating on things, especially when the value of what you're negotiating is uncertain. And I'll give you an example to make that a little more clear. Say you go to a yard sale, you see a table you want to buy at said yard sale, and you offer $150 for it. Now, maybe the owner of the table wanted to sell it for $500, but the mere mention of your $150 figure is going to impact the size of his counteroffer. He's much more likely to give you a counter close to $150 rather than, say, if you started at $400. And what's happening here is you set an anchor from which people tend to negotiate up or down instead of asking a better internal question: is this even a reasonable figure to start with? And a lot of times they're not going to ask that question internally if there's not a lot of information to go by to assign value to this item. That's why the old adage of never make the first offer isn't true. There are actually times when you want to make the first offer because you can set the status of the negotiation from the get-go. It's valuable. I'll actually give you a personal story to illustrate this point further. In college, I went to Subway with some friends to get some food. After we finished eating, I go to the cashier. I see selling some M&M cookies. So I say to the guy, let me get one of those M&M cookies too. And he starts reaching for the cookie closest to him. And I stop him and say, no, I want that cookie. And I point into the cookie in the bin that had the most M&Ms in it. And he gives it to me. And I remember some of my friends thought it was so odd that I asked for a specific cookie. And I'm like, why is it odd that I'm asking for a specific cookie? I'm paying for the cookie, right? So I don't get exactly the cookie that I want to get. That's the sort of thinking you have in all things. You never want to be afraid to ask for what you want. You're going to be a lot happier that way. So I'll give you ladies an opportunity to tackle another activity. So you want a meeting with a potential investor. Write an enticing email subject line to get that job